Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning show. It's Friday, and we got a jobs number just now coming in hot on the jobs. That's probably most of what we'll say about that. We'll talk about charts. We got a lot of charts to discuss. We got crypto. It's Crypto Friday, so we have to talk crypto. We will talk crypto with Louie, I promise. And then we have a new guest on this show today. Someone who's a longtime trader. He's a friend of Sean McLaughlin's, Michael Martin. He'll be on the show at 9. So Louie, Michael, Alfonso will join us later on to talk about his favorite charts. So that's the drill. Good morning, chat. How you all doing? Let's roll my intro and bring on the boys.
Oh, hey now. I just want to give a shout out, Strazza, to New York City architecture.
Beautiful.
Wow. Spectacular. I was at the University Club last night.
Yeah.
And it's over on 54th and 5th. Spectacular, man. The woodwork inside these rooms, the amount of detail that went in. And, I've been to a bunch of these clubs. Like the New York City Yacht Club is like crazy cool. Like next level. Like this was before Twitter. And I don't think Tinder existed yet either back in the late 1800s. So they had a lot of time on their hands. Man, it really is spectacular.
Even from, the train stations, Grand Central.
Mm-hmm. Not Penn.
Not Penn.
Not Penn. Never Penn.
So listen to this. So I think that I'm like so smart, right? Because I wore like shoes and pants because I've been not allowed in at places before. Like John Roque took me to the athletic club, the one across the street from Central Park once, and we weren't allowed in because I was wearing jeans. I haven't been allowed into the Carlisle Hotel, for example, because I was wearing sneakers. So like I've been not allowed in at places before. So I was like, not this time. This sounds to me like one of those bougie places where you need pants.
So you got all dressed up.
Usually I'll do TV and I'll wear like Jordans, right? Party down below, business up top, right? Because I'm sitting down and I'm like, oh, yeah. You need a jacket to get in to the University Club.
Yeah.
I didn't have one of those. So, of course, my wife's like, I told you to take a jacket. I'm like, yeah.
What happened?
So they lend you one.
Oh, yeah. That happened to me in Hong Kong.
The 21 Club. Remember the old 21 Club?
No, I don't.
It's old school. It doesn't exist anymore. Rest in peace, 21 Club. 21 Club, they would lend you jackets to sit down to. Spectacular place, by the way. Fantastic. Great. Shout out Jeff Felipe, who hooked me up with the Super Tuscan, so I didn't embarrass myself because everybody was bringing wines. I was drinking like 61 Barolos. Forget about it. It was ridiculous.
So Morgan went with you? She went with you to Fox? Oh, no.
Morgan did not.
So you were you were on with Liz yesterday?
Liz claiming to me, chopping it up about Bitcoin. She's the best, man.
Yeah.
She's cool. She's a rock star.
What'd you tell her? Bitcoin to 1 million?
I was telling her we were talking about gold. I was like, Liz, the kids these days, they don't remember gold doing well. She remembers. She's OG. She's old school. So shout out University Club. That's my story. What a beautiful place. You have to be invited in. I had never been invited before.
That's exciting. That's
cool.
I got to show off some of my party tricks, because it was like a wine thing. So I had a few tricks up my sleeves.
The wine was excellent.
I still got it. I can still call out, what's in the wine. I'm not in fighting shape, but showed off a few skills last night. It was, it was good to be back in the old swing of things in the wine world.
Glad to hear.
Yeah,
I've never seen JC so like in his element. Besides when he's talking about charts, right? Aside from that, when he's talking about wine, it's the same thing.
I'm into it. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
What can I tell you? Fantastic. All right, let's get into the markets. What do you say?
Crypto Friday.
All right, Dow futures down 60 points this morning. S&P futures flat, Nasdaq futures flat, 30-year bond futures flat, copper flat, oil flat. Are you noticing a trend here? Silver up 45 basis points, gold up about 1%, natural gas getting the crap kicked out of it as usual, and the dollar kind of coming off a little bit with the yen ripping again. Euro pretty much flat. U.S. 10-year yield, Strazza inching lower every day, getting close down to that 4% level. Volatility index hanging in there above 14. And then in the old funny money, man, I got to tell you, very impressive the way these cryptocurrencies have held in there. Bitcoin consolidating tightly below that 70. Currently up 1% on the day, right around 67,600. You've got Ethereum. Wow. Pushing 4,000 for Ethereum, new cycle high. So Ethereum continues higher despite Bitcoin consolidating. And then, of course, you got the old Solana up 3.5%, up to 150. Solana and Ethereum continue higher. Spencer Israel, total crypto market cap over $2.5 trillion.
And there are literally new altcoins that I've never really heard of, like every night up 20, 30, 40%. So the animal spirits are alive and well in crypto, and participation is very much broadening.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. You look at like total 3. So you look at the cryptos outside of Bitcoin, you look at the cryptos outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they've continued higher. You can really see it in the chart of Solana. A couple of new up and comers. So one of my favorite, maybe my favorite part of ASC crypto is the fact that we get alerted when there are new cryptocurrencies in our universe, when they cross over that $100 million threshold. Couple of interesting names here. Palm AI just crossed over $100 million mark. And the other one, Open Campus EDU, just crossed the 250 mark.
What is Palm AI?
I haven't the foggiest idea.
Does it matter?
Doesn't right. I was gonna say, does it matter? So
the symbol is palm.
Palm. Yeah.
Oh, that's
it's like, you know how the kids do it these days. So it's palm. So it's capital P, lowercase a, then capital L, and then capital M. You know, I love the fact that we're getting notified when new cryptos are entering the universe. Very, very cool.
Yeah. And 100 million is, I think, the right line in the sand for that too.
I think so too. You know, it was a little creepy at first because we're really junking it up. So the Palm AI, to be clear, is the 455th largest cryptocurrency. So it is way down there. But here's how I look at it. Just because it comes on the screen doesn't mean that we want to buy it, obviously. But if we're looking specifically for ICOs that are just starting to pop off, I think we should look for low. I mean, that's specifically what we're looking for. So we'll catch them as they cross above 300 or 250, but they'll get on our radar when they cross 100. You know, doesn't mean you have to buy them. You can, right? But doesn't mean you have to. But I really like the fact that we're being notified. That's very cool. Also, can we talk about the power rankings? Totally just stole this from ESPN, blatantly. You know, I think basketball and football both do this. No, that's a lie. Football does the power rankings.
Every sport does this, JC.
Do they? Yeah. They do this for basketball too? Oh. Well, it's a good idea. They should do it for every sport.
Yeah.
So totally stole that. But here's the difference. In the sports, as they climb up the leaderboards, it's really just showing a team that's hot or a team that's playing a bunch of shitty teams. This is literally relative strength. In order to climb up the leaderboard, you need to be outperforming those ahead of you. Like, so it's not about like a hot streak or they're playing a bunch of crappy teams. Like there's no denying it. In up markets, you need to go up and to the right, and then you need to do better than the others. In down markets, you need to hang in there better than the others. Both of those are very valuable information. No?
So this is just short-term momentum, right?
No. Relative strength.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think this has anything to do with momentum.
Shiba Inu just jumped 7 spots. That's the kind of market we're in.
Ooh. Why are you hating on Shiba Inu? Too many zeros to the right of the decimal point for you? Because it kind of annoys me too. I'm not going to lie.
It drives me crazy.
Drives me crazy. Why do they have to do that?
I don't get it. I don't know. But the dog coins are hot.
How many zeros are between the decimal point and the first integer?
Like too many to count, like 6.
5?
This is my problem as well.
4 zeros between the decimal point and the first integer. Is that really necessary?
No.
And it's not even like a reverse split that they need to do. They just need to move the decimal point over. So it's not even like a reverse split. They need to like multiply it by, any math majors out there? Multiply it by 10,000, I guess. Yeah, right.
How about this bonk? You heard about the bonk?
I have. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're into it?
I don't know any. No.
It's a nice base, man. Very nice base.
Sweet base.
Yes. Crypto Fridays are back. Can we give a shout out? Crypto Fridays. Crypto Fridays were, a little quiet there for a minute. I mean, not the last few months, obviously, but like remember like a year ago, Crypto Fridays, nobody wanted to talk about crypto.
Yeah, we weren't having fun at all. But Crypto Fridays in a bull market, these are the best kind of Fridays.
Yeah, they are. They are. This all started years ago because like I would schedule like my crypto meetings and like crypto like Web3 meetings like on Fridays. Like I don't know why. And then
I remember.
I
remember well.
And that just became like a thing. And then we started doing our weekly videos for crypto on Fridays. And like, here we are, Crypto Friday. Fantastic, right? Okay, Strazza, what's on my mind? Obviously crypto.
And gold.
And gold, sure. What's on your mind? Banks.
International, really. Developed Europe, seeing participation broaden, not just in the US market, but around the world. That's super constructive, right? And then I'm just looking for rotation into the more cyclical stuff, financials, materials, still not seeing much of that. And small caps really still have more work to do before you really want to be doing too much in this space because the relative strength isn't great.
Yeah, I'm looking at small cap consumer discretionaries. That's probably a big one to watch. Consumer discretionary in general, really. But definitely from the small cap perspective, consumer discretionary needs to be front and center.
Industrials have been good, in the small.
Industrials have been good, small caps and large caps.
Yeah.
Right. Foreign industrials, European industrials, Japanese industrials, mid cap industrials. I mean, just like you want to keep going, equal weight industrials.
A lot of people probably wouldn't guess this, but when it comes to small caps, industrials are by far the leader. They've been far stronger than technology.
How long have I been saying that industrials are the generals of this market? And not just because these tech stocks have been struggling, like even before that, these are the generals. These are the generals. Europe has not been breaking out because of technology. Europe has been breaking out because of industrials, right? Japan, I think, is like 20, 24, 25% industrials also, by the way. It's huge.
Yeah, that explains the strength. You see this 9-week win streak followed by another 9 going on 10-week win streak for industrials. They're up like 18 out of the last 19 weeks, a streak that they've never seen.
Consumer staples, absolutely ripping. See these things?
Staples, really?
Yeah, staples. Ripping. Parabolic. Literally. No? Staples look like industrials.
Yeah. Really, since October, just steady.
Straight up, right? Not outperforming the rest of the market, though.
That's what you want to see.
Who wants to see that?
That's what the bulls want to see.
Staples outperforming the rest of
You.
the
Right.
market.
I forgot. You're no longer one of us?
What do you mean?
Kidding.
No. Staples, as they've gone straight up, not outperforming the rest of the market. Outperforming discretionary, though.
Again, I think you want to look at the equal weights.
But what's not outperforming discretionary?
I was gonna say, didn't we just talk about discretionary
right.
and how that's
so
that's
it's
the
not
issue?
hard to outperform discretionary, to be fair. It's a big deal though.
Also, yesterday we were talking about discretionary and how that's the consumer equals the economy, but is XLY really the best way to measure the consumer?
I think
Probably.
the equal weight,
I mean,
equal weight index would be the best.
Tesla's probably not the best. Amazon is.
Sure,
Amazon, Mercado Libre.
Tesla.
Tesla, no. I don't think so.
I don't know.
Right? It's just a car, so they just throw it in there. But
I think if you could pick one stock to represent the U.S. consumer, it's got to be Amazon. So
well, we know what you think.
I'd pick Walmart. I'd pick Walmart. That's
really?
Just me.
Stop it.
I don't know, man.
Who goes to Walmart?
Yes.
Not me. I don't have one in within 3 hours.
JC, everybody in half of America shops
bro.
at
They order
Walmart,
on Amazon
man.
like a normal person.
You don't shop at Walmart. Half of America shops at Walmart.
I'll take the under, and I trust people more that shop on Amazon than the people who shop at Walmart.
Trust
in every way. In every way. If you're at Walmart instead of Amazon, I don't think you could be trusted.
You don't want to be in a store with those people, is what you're saying.
Dude, peopleofwalmart.com. Visit peopleofwalmart.com is maybe the greatest. Like, that is why the internet was built, for websites like that. Like the mullets that you see, I think People of Walmart has its own mullet like section on the website for just the hottest mullets.
You guys
I've never been to this website, but I can imagine.
You've never been to peopleofwalmart.com?
Neither have I.
Oh
I've
my
heard of
God,
it.
dude.
You're not the first person to,
Dude, it's like going to Times Square or going to Disney World. Like, you get to see like what people around the world look like. It's crazy.
All right. Speaking of retailers, Spencer, am I seeing this right? Costco, like 8 price hikes. Yeah, like 8 Target hikes this morning.
I mean,
they all do it at the same time.
Look. Yeah, like Costco had a really high bar. They didn't quite clear it, but it's Costco. I mean, it's Costco. This company is a machine. This business is a machine.
Spencer's favorite earnings release is always Costco because he shops there, right?
I mean, it's certainly, well, yeah. I mean, I'm naturally more interested in the companies that I'm also a consumer of. Sure. So I'm going to Costco tonight. Actually, that's the plan. But yeah, it's a great company. The report was okay. It wasn't amazing. We're down 4% today. So yeah, it was a little light on the revenue, but so it says the expectations. But I mean, look, it's Costco.
The dip buying,
chart speaks for itself.
Dip buying in Costco is as good as in any stock. Like
Costco, consumer staple.
Yeah. Yeah,
sounds discretionary to me.
Yeah.
We're a Sam's family.
Sam's Club. That's Walmart, right?
Oh,
I don't know.
Sam's Club is nice. Yes,
but it's the same thing as Costco, right?
You shop at Walmart, JC.
I shop at Walmart. First of all, we use Instacart like normal people. We don't go to Sam's. I don't even know where the Sam's is, actually.
Do you want to tell everybody about the jobs?
Jobs are hot. Coming in hot this morning.
It's pronounced Yobs. It's
Jobs?
Soft J.
So
it's actually pronounced non-farm.
80,000 Yobs higher than expectations. Why did they bother even forecasting this data if they can't even get like anywhere as close ever?
Can't you just say the same thing for sell side analysts? Isn't it all the same thing? Economists? What's the difference?
That's a great point. You're right.
We need them to stay employed. We need to use the data from a contrarian perspective. And if we need to start a GoFundMe account to keep these people employed, then so be it. We'll do what we have to do.
What's going on with Broadcom here?
Well,
this is a big one.
The estimate is by nature like the average. So I'm sure there was somebody out there that was pretty damn close to
somebody
to
had
number.
to have nailed it. Somebody listen.
Broken
clock is always right twice a day,
right? Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Anyway, hey, we have Louie here.
Why don't you bring him on,
Louie?
I'm trying to bring Louie on. Louie, you ready? Louie, you're coming on. Let's do it.
Got my fingers on the post, avocado and toast, leather seats, jet plane, always ready to go.
I love how
Good morning, New Zealand. How's it going, guys?
I love how your bumper talks about avocado and toast.
Yeah.
Do
Very millennial of me.
do millennials in New Zealand eat a lot of avocado toast, or is that just an
It
American?
actually is a big thing, believe it or not. I live in Wellington, which is almost like the hipster capital of New Zealand, and
Really?
there's a lot of avocado on toast here.
Who knew?
I think
Who knew
I'm
New Zealand
technically
had
a
a
Gen
hipster
Z though. I
capital?
don't think I'm a millennial.
You're too young to be a millennial, right?
Yeah, I'm Gen Z,
Wow.
and so a lot of avocado
I
on
think
toast here.
I think the avocado on toast like meme started in New Zealand because there was like this billionaire guy that blamed millennials not having money on the fact that they spend too much money on avocado toast. I think that's how this is like years ago.
Do you
I
put
think
red
that's how-
onions on your avocado toast?
Ooh.
That sounds good, but I don't.
Yes.
I think you need to. I'm like,
Great.
I don't eat a lot of avocado toast. I guess maybe I'm not a like real millennial or something. But theoretically, if I'm going to have some avocado toast, I'd want some red onions.
And you should also always have red onions on a lox bagel.
Ooh.
I don't even know what that is.
Yes,
We don't have that
100%.
in New Zealand. That's one thing I can say.
Sliced really thin.
Do they
Yes,
have
you-
Jews? Do they have Jews in New Zealand? No.
No juice.
Do
No.
they? No, I don't think so.
So yeah, that's so there's not.
It's
so
a
there's not
legit
lox.
question.
Wait, which one of us are you asking? Just to be clear.
I'm asking Louie because he knows, but I'm looking at you. They don't have Jews in New Zealand, right?
Not many.
But they I guess, I miss the Jewish community. I just don't have that where I live now, and it really bothers me. I took the Jewish community for granted all these years.
One thing that I can say that we do
Alright.
have in New Zealand is cryptocurrencies, which I'm happy about.
Heyo.
See, that was quite smooth, that little segue.
So
What
I'm getting a lot of
altcoins?
Louie
Nice
today. I'm
segue.
getting a lot
Nice
of Louie.
segue.
Today is our first ever video for ASC Crypto today, 2:00. We're gonna walk through. This is the beginning. We're gonna
Let's go. Pumped
we're
up
gonna
for this.
pretend we're gonna pretend that we're new to crypto. We've never traded this ever, that we haven't been doing this for 10 years. We're starting from scratch, opening an account at Coinbase, moving assets in, right? In coming weeks, we'll talk about some of the decentralized exchanges and talk a little bit more about DeFi. But today is going to be, right off the bat, where do we start? How do we get started? Because believe it or not, guys, speaking of taking things for granted, there are people who actually have never traded crypto. Can you believe that?
Yeah. So this is going to be heavy into what are we buying?
This is heavy into how are we buying it?
Okay.
Yes. Obviously, the what are we buying, but certainly the how are we buying it? That's what we're going to discuss today. We're going to record that and everything like that. So there's the code. Louie, I gotta tell you, I know I sound like a broken record. I absolutely love the scan. And you were messaging me that last night or the night before. You're like, JC, I got it down. Dude, the fact that we're getting notified when these things break 100, it's pretty awesome, right?
And so what JC is talking about is that we've designed this custom scan. We're actually the first ones on the planet to do this, where we are the first ones to get notified when a cryptocurrency exceeds a certain market cap threshold for the first time. Now, this could be 100 million, 250 million, 500 million, a billion. It doesn't matter. When it crosses a certain market cap threshold, we're automatically alerted and we're the first ones to know about it. And it's not like, well, okay, this cryptocurrency is breaking $100 million in market cap. We instantly want to go buy that. No, what this is this is a cryptocurrency that's just moving into our universe. And so we ought to pay attention. This is an area that's a little bit interesting.
That's how we do it with most of our universes, right? We create them built on some sort of criteria, but then we're always overlaying the technical analysis.
It's like
Exactly.
it's like when they open up a new restaurant in your town, right? Doesn't mean that you want to go. In fact, you might even be skeptical. Like they're opening up a new Mexican joint right here in town. Like, I don't know. I am not convinced. I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna do some homework. I'm gonna talk to some people. I might even go check it out myself. Maybe order a taco. I don't know.
Peek in the
I'm gonna do some
windows.
homework. But
Yeah.
before I come into the house and tell my wife, be like, "Oh my God, there's a great new Mexican restaurant in town," I got to do some homework, right? But at the very least, I want one of my neighbors to call me or text me and be like, "Yo, they're opening up a new Mexican joint in town," right? Like I just want to be notified. So to me, it's the same thing. And then the homework begins. No?
That's
Exactly.
a great analogy. He has the best analogies.
You see, we don't have good Mexican restaurants in New Zealand.
They don't have Mexicans. They don't go that far. First of all, I grew up in Miami. We didn't have Mexicans either. New York, you don't have Mexicans either. That's some West Coast stuff.
In California, you got to know some Mexicans. And
Oh, dude, in California, they have the best Mexicans, man. Like, seriously, these guys taught me how to do it. Chilaquiles. I had never had chilaquiles before. I learned that from my Mexican friends. Like, chilaquiles are unbelievable.
My first experience with chilaquiles was with both of you guys.
Cubans don't eat that shit.
Yeah.
My grandmother has an avocado tree in her backyard, and just
That's
hundreds of avocados come every year. Not once has this woman ever made guacamole. Never.
Why?
Cubans don't eat
Not
guacamole.
Cubans they won't. Okay.
It's
But
not
like,
a Cuban thing. Cubans it's not a Cuban thing. My grandmother says Mexicans eat it, but like these avocados are so good. You just slice it, put a little olive oil, some salt, and you're good to go. You know?
I don't see avocados on most Cuban dishes.
It's a side dish. It's like an avocado salad.
Okay.
And ensalada de aguacate.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we'll go to Abuela's house when we're in Miami next month.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot. We should be there.
All right. So, Louie, what is your favorite part of all of these things that we're doing? Also, the scan itself that notifies us when it reaches a certain threshold? Or is it the power rankings? Or is it the on-chain analysis? What gets you most excited about everything we're doing?
Everything gets me excited. I don't think there's a single one. It's like asking who's your favorite child. There's so we've never been more prepared for this new bull market with all of our scans, all of our analysis, all of our data sources. But it's pretty cool how we can track the wallets with the best track record. That's pretty cool. I want to talk about that.
Because this is
And
like the Form 4s and Nancy Pelosi YOLOing Tesla and all these things. But we get it in real time, and we only look at those with the greatest track records ever. So like Nancy Pelosi has a pretty decent track record. Is she actually the best trader ever, right? Or is her husband actually the best trader ever? No, they're pretty good. But are they the best ever? In the crypto markets, we can actually just filter to the best ever.
This is super cool that you could even do this, right?
I brought an example today that I want to go through with Pantera Capital and their recent purchases of Beam. And so Pantera Capital was actually the first institutional blockchain fund in the world in 2013 or 2014. This is one of their on-chain wallets. It's got a balance here, as you can see there on the top right, of $768 million. And you can see their track record on-chain over the last 3 months. So I've gone from, about just under $300 million to just under $800 million just in the last 3 months. These guys know what they're doing. And what I want to pull your attention to is I've seen this wallet buy a lot of this Beam token. Now, I don't really know what Beam token is. I don't really care. But what I do care about is that this fund, who's got an amazing track record, who's got a lot of capital, is buying a lot of this random token. And you can see there on the token balances on the bottom left-hand corner, Beam is one of their largest holdings. And so that's really got me interested. And so I do a little bit more digging and I look to see who are the wallets who's accumulating that. And so there's another slide that I included there, Spencer, if you want to pull that up with the Nansen data. And so this is Beam. So this is where the magic happens. This is the smart money wallet balance over the last, few months. And you can see that the change over the last 7 days, and it's not just Pantera Capital, but it's also Binance Labs, Defiance Capital. This is really the smart money here. And they've been buying this really quite aggressively, not only over the last 7 days, but over the last few months. And so we know that there's a great tailwind going in behind this name. And so I liken it to, say, biotechnology companies. If you're wanting to be in the biotechnology space, you can just go buy a random ETF that gives you exposure to the industry. Or you can go have a look at what the Baker Bros are buying or what Cathie Wood is buying. And that gives you a really good universe to pick and choose from what are the strongest names. Now, the same case here. We can look at what the smart money is doing. We can look at what they're buying. And that gives us a really good universe to choose from. And then the magic is looking at this data and then overlaying our technical analysis to find defined risk versus reward oh my god, I'm stuttering here. Some defined risk versus reward opportunities. And it's that ability to overlay our technical analysis. Same with the market cap scan, right? Just because smart money is buying this, it doesn't mean we automatically just want to rush out and buy this coin. We need to manage risk. We need to overlay our process. And that's really the magic behind this data.
You
I
know,
like, yeah.
go ahead, Strazza.
Beam looks good.
Yeah, and so
thanks.
I've pulled up a
Come on.
price chart here.
Yeah,
So
here we go.
there we go.
Looks like industrials. Looks like consumer staples. You know, when it comes to cryptocurrencies in general, I know we're getting you know, questions in the chat in terms of like percentage allocation and all that stuff, and we'll get into that. For me, this is how I see it, and I'm gonna tell you guys a little story. I'm the old man here in the room, but if you can believe that. So back in the day, like I've told you guys before, I used to be a gold bug, right? Like a legit gold bug. Like, you know, all my heroes were gold bugs, all the technicians were gold bugs. Like I was that guy. And I thought, you know, I was young, I was in my early 20s, so I thought I was so smart, right? I'm a CMT, gold, blah blah blah, and I made good money. I mean, for that age, I was doing well. And then I would hang out with my friends in Vancouver, and they would tell me about their 50 bagger, 100 bagger in this shitty little Chilean mining company or Mexican mining company or South African mining company.
With a $50 million market cap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? But yes, basically, right? Tiny. And these are guys that were younger than me, and they're retiring. So here I am thinking about how smart I am, how much money I'm making, and these guys are just abusing me. Not like they're making fun of me. We're just having a normal conversation, but my stomach is like turning of FOMO that I completely missed, thinking I was so smart. So what's the lesson here?
Beta is the lesson.
The beta is the lesson. The lesson is if it's a precious metals bull market and you're looking for big winners, you got to move down the cap scale.
100%.
But more importantly, to bring us back to this particular conversation, if you like Bitcoin, great. Bitcoin can go to the moon. I don't know the price of the moon, but I think it's higher from where current levels are. But when you go down the cap scale and you find these smaller cryptocurrencies, call them, you know, tokens of any kind, 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, those are the silver miners on the Vancouver exchange that may or may not have a mine in South Africa, right? But it doesn't even matter, right? It's not your problem whether they actually have a mine in South Africa or in Chile or in Mexico. Just like this Beam token, I don't know what they do. They might not do anything. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Maybe it's a scam, maybe it's a fraud, maybe it goes to zero. But after you profit from it, what happens to that stock or that token is not your problem. Those employees are not your problem. People left holding the bag, they're not your problem either, right? This whole investing thing is a very selfish endeavor. We want to buy something and we want to sell it at a higher price. What happens after that? Not our problem. So that was the lesson that I had to learn the hard way.
Money flow that drives markets, not narratives. And so, talking about gold, it took the gold ETF 2 years to reach $10 billion under assets under management. It took the IBIT BlackRock ETF 2 months to reach $10 billion.
I love this guy. Good. It's funny. This is how multi-level marketing speeches go. See, here's the difference. I don't need y'all to do anything. I don't care what you guys do with your wallets, right? It doesn't matter. See, that's the difference between a multi-level marketing, you know, schemes and
Hold on, though. What you're saying is just a major theme or an important lesson for markets in general.
yes.
If there's a bull market for an asset class, you want to embrace risk, right? And move out on the risk spectrum, buy the most risk on, most offensive names or assets in that asset class. And that tends to be junky stuff sometimes, like your $40 million gold miner or some tiny cryptocurrency that just crossed.
But also bigger stuff. Luna, a few years ago, we traded Luna successfully multiple times. We did very, very well in Luna. Luna blew up and no longer exists. But that's not our problem, right? A great example. Great example.
Silvergate and Signature Bank.
Silvergate and Signature Bank.
Those are
Great
some
examples.
of the best stocks of
That's
the
right.
last bull market.
That's exactly right. Another good one. I mean, Herbalife for someone like I did I make money in Herbalife?
Oh, you're so old.
I think I traded Herbalife once or twice. I don't remember making a lot of money in Herbalife, to be honest.
This
It may
It's
have been
still
like a
around.
wash
It's
trade.
still around, you know.
for
Well, my
for a
point
couple
is,
months. Yeah,
my point is, Uncle Carl made $1 billion in Herbalife. You think he gives a shit what happens to Herbalife now?
no, he crushed it.
No.
Crushed. He made
That
$1 billion.
For a couple months there, and whenever that was, 2013, 2014, Herbalife and this fight between Ackman and Icon was all they talked about on the market networks.
I was
Now-
writing about it in my letters to LPs for my hedge fund. I was
It was a big
talking
deal.
about how there's a squeeze in this and we want to participate and how high could it go. Like that was literally, I'll find it. That was literally in my letters to LPs.
No one talks about this stock anymore. I just had to check to see if it was still public.
I just think it's a good example of something that did very well. Someone famous who made a lot of money on this trade. Someone who also lost a lot of money, but that's another story. And it doesn't exist anymore, or soon it's not going to exist, right? Aren't they on their way to zero or something?
The chart sure looks like it. I know nothing about this business. It's like
Speaking
old
of
people
multi-
selling vitamins.
Speaking
right?
of multi-level marketing.
Well, that's why I
multi-level
brought it
marketing
up. This
right
is
there.
yeah. It's a pyramid
Yeah.
scheme.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, Louis, what else you got?
I want to talk about this power rankings really quickly. This is
Yes, thank you.
really exciting. Now, you guys liken it to, the NFL power rankings. I'm more liken it to the Formula One power rankings. I'm more of a Formula One guy myself, and it's great just every week seeing how the different players, or in my case, the different drivers are performing. Now we do the same thing here with cryptocurrencies. We take the top 20 largest cryptocurrencies by market cap. We rank them by the market cap they have, and we see the changes from week to week. So you want to see relative strength? This is the visualization of relative strength at the top end. Like, look at Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu climbed up 7 spots this week. ETH Classic and Near Protocol entered to the top 20. Near Protocol climbed 7. ETH Classic climbed 5. And then you can see the ones that fell. Tron, Chainlink, Avalanche, Litecoin. I love this table.
So it's relative strength versus some broad crypto index over the trailing week.
No, so this is the market cap rank, and so this is how
No. Strazza thinks this is way more complicated than it is. No.
Right.
This is literally just the market cap and then it climbing up the leaderboard in market cap.
Got it.
That's all it is.
Got it.
So it's
Okay.
like,
simple. Keep it simple, stupid.
yeah, but this is relative strength, Louis. Like literally, this is relative strength because in up markets, these names not only need to go up, but they need to outperform those that are larger than it in order to climb up the leaderboard. And then in down markets, when cryptos are selling off, the ones holding up the best are climbing up the leaderboard. Like this is literally a visualization of relative strength. It's really, you know what else? I wish we had this like years ago so that we could look at our top 20 and laugh at it. Now that we're doing this every week, I want to save these so that 5 years from now, 2 years from now, we can look at these and chuckle,
Yeah,
Exactly.
this is awesome because it catches a lot of the ones that are mooning. Right?
What is the
Catches
price
big
of the
moves.
moon? Is it $1 million?
I don't know, but Near was mooning Wednesday.
There's
You can
got to
see
be
it
a
on the
level
table.
where the moon is. The moon's got to be when Bitcoin reaches the market cap of gold. I think that's the moon.
1 million.
Anybody got a better answer?
No.
Louis?
No.
Anybody got a calculator? What is 14 times 68,000? What's
Just like an
14?
accountant, you know that?
952,000. Do I? have a
952,000?
Bro,
So basically to get to the equivalent of gold, Bitcoin needs to go to 1 million. So 1 million is the moon. Officially.
I like that.
Shout out to the moon. Is Pluto still
All
a moon or is it a planet again?
No, it's neither. It's I don't know.
think it's a
And I
movie.
don't care. All right. Members of ASC Crypto, stay tuned to your inboxes. You'll be receiving an email shortly with the link to today's video. The rest of you who are not in ASC Crypto don't know what you're doing, but you can get in time for the live video today at 2 o'clock. There is a code on the screen. The link is also below in the description. It's also at the very tippy top of our chat on YouTube. All those places. Check it out. ASC Crypto. There you go.
Louie, getting great reviews. I don't know if you've been seeing the feedback.
Yeah, great job.
Well,
Louie.
very
I think
exciting.
I think it's probably just the accent.
Honestly,
it doesn't hurt.
they're into it.
Doesn't hurt.
They're into the accent. You definitely sound way smarter than you are. And the hair helps too. That hair is
Exactly. It's
in
pretty
Spanish.
majestic,
It's called
right?
in Spanish. It's called la teja. You have tremendo teja,
La Teja.
la teja, which means like
Beautiful.
the roof tile, the shingles, la teja.
Hey, well, it was a pleasure talking crypto with you guys tonight or this morning, and I'll see you on the webinar early today.
See it.
If anybody asks,
So-
the moon is 1,000,000. We just established that.
All right, the moon is 1,000,000. Good.
And for valid reason,
okay.
we're not just picking 1,000,000. There's real math there.
Yeah, we just did real math. All right, new guest on this show today. Very exciting, Michael Martin. I'm gonna talk a little bit. He did send a couple of charts over, so we'll talk about charts and what trades he likes right now, but also just about psychology, right? A little bit. That's what he's into. He's into like the psychological aspect of trading and just how to be a trader a little bit and how to deal with losses, how to deal with wins as well. Dealing with wins sometimes can be just as hard as dealing with losses. So let's bring Michael on the show. He also wrote a nice book about this. So yeah, let's do it.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Mr.
Mike
Michael
Martin.
what's up?
Hey, long time, man. How you been?
Great. Looking forward to talking about traditional financial markets here on Crypto Friday. So a lot of crypto this morning. Why don't I throw it out to you? What's on your mind?
Everything's good on my end. Obviously, it's a very early day. I'm based in Los Angeles, so I'm up at 4:30 or so, just checking out the scans that I do the night before. For me, preparedness is everything. I know the short-term guys are really good at doing things, the morning of, looking for what the catalysts are. For me, I'd have a heart attack, a panic attack, not being prepared. So I typically do, most of my preparation the night before, check it once before I hit the hay. And then when I get up, I don't have a big watch list. I just have it very much narrowed down to see where things are going. And then I kind of go from there, put my stops in, and then wait for the market to come to me.
Before we get into the actual market, can you tell me a little bit about what the West Coast lifestyle is like? Why don't you tell the folks? I lived in Sonoma for 5 years, so I know it well. I think the best of all of them is the mountain time for American traders. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of that.
Yeah, mountain time. That's Sean, I think,
Sean.
or Brian Shannon are in mountain time. For me, it's kind of like the bastard child of time zones because some of the time it's mountain time and Pacific time are the same. The state isn't run all that well. Not saying it lightly. The leadership here is horrible at best. But I left New York City just because I couldn't take the extreme weather anymore. Like I'd go out in Turnbull and Asser, custom made shirts, going to see clients, and at 7 a.m, the humidity was so thick it would screw up my hair. What'd you call the other guy? A bendejo or something? I don't know. What's the word for hair?
La teja.
Oh, I see. La teja. So yeah, bendejo.
But you said it's something else.
Yeah. So
I don't want to know what he said.
Family show.
Yeah, family show. So I'd walk out, and I'd have the half moons under my arms and the sweat. It would be just misery. So the weather out here can't be beat. People are great. The day starts super early, so the commodity markets start closing at 9 a.m. And I'm not really big, although I have played stock index futures a bit. The markets close. My markets close. Between 9 and 12, and so being so close to the beach and just having the great weather, and the people are pretty good, gives me the whole day to go out and cause trouble. So it's lopsided that way. I get up super early, but I was always up early in New York anyway. I was always at my desk by 6:37 in the morning Eastern time. So I was like, it would be a good fit if I moved to the West Coast, get a maybe higher quality of life, and go from there. So
I like
I
what
have
you
no
said about being prepared, right?
Yeah.
Because when I lived in Sonoma, I would, especially when I first moved out there, I would have like a lot of anxiety when I would wake up. Be like, oh my God, I'm so behind. Like the whole world has already been up and finished their day, and I haven't even started mine. Like I would wake up with that sort of anxiety. So when you're talking about preparing the night before hitting, before going to sleep, like you're 100% dead on.
Yeah, for me, it's I'd have girlfriends. They'd be like, "Let's go out, let's meet for drinks, let's do this and that," and I'm like, "No, I got jujitsu at 6, and then I have my prep, so I can see you. I'll see you at 7:30, but I have to get my work done, my first round. Then I usually do a double check at night because the markets here, the time zone is so crazy. I can see what happens in like the money centers like Sydney, Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the open. So there's oftentimes I'd have winning positions with trailing protective stops. I got pretty good at understanding like what would happen over like in Sydney, Tokyo, roll it forward to London. And if those positions were down, I'd often execute overnight and very greatly, improve my exits, especially in taking profits. Because once the selling started in a trend for a wave of profit taking, I could oftentimes beat the curve or the outcry session in New York by being so the time zone did help me in that regard.
Yeah, seeing the opens and the closes as the Earth rotates, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
What I'm really fascinated about. So you send over some charts, and a lot of people send over their charts. You have quite the eclectic collection here of charts that you sent in. We're talking about Riley, Carvana, crude
Yeah.
oil, what we're looking at, unleaded gasoline, and natural gas. I love this. So start wherever you'd like. I'm all ears. This sounds great.
Yeah, so my style is largely trend following, position sizing, and I learned the hard way, going to a wirehouse. I used to work at what was then called Smith Barney Harris Upham, way back. Actually, Jamie Dimon was the number 2 guy to Sanford Weill, and it was a great eye-opening experience. And I couldn't get a job as a trader because you needed an MBA. So I learned the hard way that I can't be a man for all seasons. I really have to narrow it down to one particular thing. Plus, JC, don't forget, when we started, stocks traded in eighths. So it was very expensive to day trade. When you looked at having to pay at least an eighth in and an eighth out, plus the bid-ask spread, you're looking at 50 cents to $1 as a break even just in the cost of doing business. So I don't know. Spencer, do you have control? You want to put up the first one?
Yeah. Let's do it.
So some of these trades are like right underneath. I don't know if you see did you have the list from Market Watch that I had, the row of stocks? Is that one in there?
Oh, I didn't drop that one in there. No.
Okay. So if you go to, it used to be called CBS Market Watch, go to your Google's thing and type in NASDAQ short interest. You can find a list of the most shorted stocks that are out there. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're buy signals because they're heavily shorted. But at the top of the list is this IPCC or something. It's an energy stock. They transport crude oil and distillates all over the world. It's like 75%. In this case, we're looking at Riley, where it's 68%. The float is the short interest is 68%. So 11 out of 16 shares have been borrowed for the purpose of selling short. Carvana's on that list. Crocs was on that list. Beyond Meat's on the list. Names that you know. And so in this one, we're looking at Carvana over the years at the daily chart with the 200-day on top. At the bottom, we're looking at the short interest in millions of shares. So you can see the bottom there in the middle is at about $7 a share, maybe a little less, 5, and it's rallied up. The stock is up over tenfold, and yet you still have 30-something, 3 million shares outstanding. So for those of you who think like the move is over because I've missed it, if you're doing what's called anchoring, where you're looking at the bottom left to the top right, and you're like, oh, I've missed the move. There's still an enormous amount of stock that hasn't been covered. This will be updated, I think, every 2 weeks is when they do it. That's the best you can get unless you have a premium feed through NASDAQ. So in my opinion, the move isn't necessarily over. If you go back to Riley, here's a stock that's, it could be, if you look to the left, what is that, at stage 3? Maybe it's consolidating here, stage 1. I don't know any more than you do. But what I do know is that with 68% short interest, if this thing starts to break out to the upside, the shorts are going to start bleeding out of their ears.
Yeah.
And it's a quick little trade. You can do it with long calls if you want to do it above the market. Sometimes they move quickly, but we've been in it. We made money with Crocs. We made money with a little money with Beyond Meat. This one could go. I'm not currently in it, but I'm watching it just as a short squeeze, strategy. Carvana's probably at the top of the list. That one's been a more easy play, especially now since the trend is up. But just to put in the short interest, I don't feel like if you look at that and you're reasonable, the move isn't necessarily over just because the stock is up so much. I don't typically use
Mike,
price target.
just quickly, can I could tell you, I could tell the folks why I'm interested in high short interest. Essentially the potential tailwind that's built into the situation. But do you want to explain it in your words why something like this is so attractive for you? Why you look specifically for high short interest names? Can you walk through maybe someone who doesn't quite understand the mechanics of how the market works and why that's so important?
Yeah. So for those of you who are completely unfamiliar, it's very different from futures where there's no borrowing mechanism. If you want to sell short, you just enter the market short, sell the thing, and there's no problem. With stocks, you obviously have to borrow. That all starts with hypothecation and pledging accounts, this and that. But what ends up happening is if someone demands their shares back, you're short the shares, not necessarily the price. Now, I've lectured at the CFA Institute, the NYSA, New York Society of Security Analysts, the founding chapter of the CFA Institute in New York City. And the CFA types are thinking about, what's customary, right? Look at channel stuffing. And they're very, very bright people. Short sellers are extremely intelligent. And if you look at the short interest list, there's a good reason why those names are on there. Because
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not the greatest traders, is what I'm saying. Like, how in the name of God Almighty can Carvana, for example, be up 15-fold, right? From or at least 12 to 15-fold off the lows, and the short interest is down 10-20%. So to me, it's like, how much more evidence do these people need? Like, they would rather be wrong in a trade and locked into their ideology than trade the price action, which is kind of the neighborhood I live out here.
Also, Michael, something like a Carvana, it already got crushed, right? Like, word got out, this company stinks, how you're still short.
Yeah, you made your money. Or the name that's on I think it's IPM. I don't have the list in front of me, and I don't want to get sidetracked here, but the number one name on the list
it was IMPP. That's what it was. IMPP.
Right. So they're a shipping company that ships petroleum products around the world. They're based out of Athens, Greece. Maybe they're going to zero. The stock is $3 and the float is 75%. It's like, you could sell calls and make more money. Like, I don't understand why you would still be short. Like, the thing is you've made your win. Like, what are you hanging on for at this point? So if you're short, it's a bad trade to still be in because your upside is limited at this point. There's only $3.
Yeah, you're gonna make $3 or lose 50, right?
Exactly. And so when I started seeing this strategy, 20 years ago, I was like, okay, I just have to make sure I get a really good data source. They don't update it, every day. That one chart there was courtesy of Koifin. I don't have a conflict of interest to report, but you'd be surprised how the stock can rise very, very rapidly and even show geometric growth, and the actual coverage is very, very small. So typically, what you want, if you want to look at it from a trade, and I talked to Brian Shannon about this, so I want to give him a little bit of credit. Is you look at what's the average daily trading volume? Throw that up on a 10-day simple moving average, and then look at the number of shares that have been borrowed for the purpose of selling short, and create that quotient. That's how many days, if all the trades that went down were needed to cover the shorts, the bigger the number, the better.
That's how we sort our short squeeze lists or short squeeze candidates, by short ratio versus by percentage short, like exactly what you just said.
Yeah, and it's assumed that's actually quite brilliant. That's really, really smart. Here I am.
Is
thinking
it? I'm
I
pretty
am-
sure we just stole that from. I don't think we came up with that on our own. This
Well,
is. I mean, this is old classic. Analysis, right? Like we're not
Yeah.
reinventing the wheel here, right?
I'm just a street smart New Yorker. I mean, I've failed at so many different things here. You have to think of your capital when you're starting out as really like your tuition on some level, and then you kind of learn to culture the pearls to figure out what works best for you for the risk that you're willing to take. Nobody's immune, you know, from taking losses, right? So the key is what ones can you withstand, and what's the best way to represent the risk in your portfolio? Maybe it's with, working with, Sean McLaughlin. Maybe it's using your work. Ultimately, you have to take that as a starting point, which is what everybody that I've recommended to All-Star Charts is it's like drinking water out of a fire hose. There's a lot of information there. You have to pick your spots and see what works, and kind of go from there. Don't be afraid to fail.
And what works for you also.
Yeah, 100%.
Before we let the fun police is ready to kick you out. Sorry.
No, I know I'm not. I have a question. Dear Lord.
Go ahead.
No, I wanted to ask Michael. You do a lot of coaching, right?
Yeah.
Of trading coaching, right? And I'm just
Yes.
curious, what you, in your experience as a coach, what the most common thing that traders struggle with? Is it dealing with losses? Is it dealing with winners? Is it knowing? I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's with guys especially, this might be a sensitive comment, but they have a hair trigger response to taking gains. Like as soon as the thing goes green, they're like, my God, I better take profits. I'm in a panic attack. And they're just so happy to see green on the screen that they don't let the market forces unfold. You know what I mean? And they don't use protective stops. They overtrade. Things really don't change all that much. They buy into the hype. They look at the hot keys on their computer, and they think that all the features that they have on their trading platform are benefits, which they're not. But yeah, they take their gains too quickly, and then they have to reinvent themselves every day, as opposed to finding something that's just starting, have an appropriate amount of risk, and just letting the winners run. It doesn't mean you have to turn into an investor, but I think more day traders who are struggling, more swing traders who are struggling, they would absolutely do better if they traded smaller and took the risk home overnight over the weekend. There's nothing wrong with that. I have studies that show that the money's actually made overnight. In fact, I'll do a little humble brag. I was sitting right here at this desk, kind of doing my post-mortem, which I do every day to make sure I don't have any errors, because errors are bad when you do them on the fly. They're even worse if you leave them overnight. And so I saw across the tape, SMCI was being added to the S&P 500. Without even thinking, I went right to my order screen, and I was buying. A week ago, the stock, I think, went off at 905, and I paid between 911 and 932, to get a position on after the close. Because how sneaky is that, right? It's Friday after the close. No one's paying attention. The news will really hit the tape. Everyone will figure out how much they're missing out. So in terms of slippage and skid, that's got to be the greatest amount of skid that I've ever had in my life, $21 or so in between. But I put on enough risk to know that it would make a difference, but also if I was wrong or no one cared, it wasn't going to kill me. You know what I mean? And I think if you do enough trading, that's the balance that you have to find for yourself. It's different for everybody. I have a cast iron stomach, so it doesn't bother me particularly. It's more how to avoid the drawdown. That's really what I'm trying to do, is I don't want the big drawdown. So if I smell smoke, I assume it's a 5-alarm fire. And with leveraged instruments like futures, you kind of have to do that. But keep the risk. Keep good risks. It doesn't matter if you trade 10 shares of SMCI or 5 shares of NVIDIA. Like trying to get in and out for those emotional wins so that you can feel validated is, to me, something that's immature on some level. You want to grow out of that, build a position, keep it, let the thing work for you. Because if you bought the breakout NVIDIA at 505 or whatever it was a few months ago and you took 50, 60 bucks out of the trade, I'll be the first one to give you a high five. But you've left the most of the money on the table. You know what I mean? So that's it's you can't really celebrate that part.
But at the same time, there's value in knowing the difference between a trade and an investment. Very different.
True enough.
Right.
True enough. I'll agree with that 100%.
Everybody has different time horizons.
Yeah,
that's right.
You have day traders, you have long-term investors, you have everything in between. Something you said, all your tools and doohickeys on your trading software doesn't make you a better trader. What about more monitors? The more monitors you have, the better trader you are, right? Isn't that how that works?
How many
Yeah,
screens do you
I
have,
mean,
Mike?
I have 2, and the only
Smart.
reason I have 2 is when I record. You know, I've got this Sony 4K camera here, and my Shure mic. It helps me when I record content to have it off my screen. But other
So
than
you
that,
don't even really need the 2. You really just need the 1.
it's a convenience. But I don't.
Yeah.
I know it's like, show me your trading setup, and it's like, to me it's erotica. Like, it doesn't mean anything. I used to have all that stuff, and it really certainly made you feel like, you know, that you're onto something, or that, you know, it's a macho thing as far as I can see. Like, when I look at human behavior, it's like, you know, you don't need 14 monitors. It looks cool, but I could be certainly. I'll tell you this: 05, 06 were some of my best years. I caught the move in gold, the copper move. The sugar went from 9 to 22, and I was loaded in all of that stuff. And I literally didn't even have real-time quotes. I was clearing through EDNF, man. I'd go to their website and look at the end of the day charts, do all my analysis, and just do like I do today, write up my orders and have them ready for the next day. I had one old school. It was a 2009 24-inch iMac, and I used end of day data. And it was one of my best years of my career. So I don't think you need everything that you think you need. It's like souping up your car. That stuff looks cool, but put that money in an S&P 500 fund. You know, grow it. You don't need.
Yeah, but here's the difference. Here's the difference. You can put a new intake in the car, and the car will go faster, right? But if you put like a spoiler, it's not going to go faster, right? It's just a spoiler. Like, the monitors are like the spoiler. It's not the intake. It's just a distraction.
And you're talking to a guy who had a Super Sport Chevelle with the Cherry Bomb exhaust and 50s on the back, and it was a Mopar muscle car. And I think back of that and all the guitar synthesizers I bought and like the money that I put in, like, I'd have an extra 2 million. Like, literally, if I look at all the money that slipped through my fingers, I had a Roland Jazz Chorus 120. I had a 1957 Telecaster. You know, I still have some of those old you know, vintage guitars. But the point is like, if you have to be mindful of where your money goes. You know, you stop paying for this Discords, you stop paying for these funding accounts, and just put the damn money in your account. Even as a guy who teaches, you know, trading and emotional intelligence around managing risk, you can't buy your way out of your emotional discomfort. The best teacher for trading is you actually doing it. It's an experiential type of a thing. And, you know, we have, you know, 3 folks here on the call. At the end of the day, we're going to have 3 very distinct styles. We all could do very, very well, albeit very, very differently. And I support that, you know, and I celebrate it. I don't have anything against, you know, long-term traders versus, you know, short-term traders. You have to find what works best for you. For me, I want to make the most. It's Pareto efficiency. I want to make the most amount of money for doing the least amount of work. And it's not that I'm lazy. I've been working since I'm 12. I have enormous grit.
Pareto efficiency. I really like that. I like the sound of that. Pareto efficiency. I'm into it.
That's good. That's good.
That's good. I hadn't heard it phrased that way.
Yeah, it's like everyone knows the 80-20 rule, but the Pareto efficiency is more like, if I need X amount of dollars and Y amount of time to get the required output, how can I make that process efficient? Better use my inputs to get more output, or cut my costs to get the same output because of, you know, capacity. Usually as far as capacity is concerned, there's nothing better than having more money in your account, right? So then how do I act more efficiently? And so there's an emotional component to that. And then there's also the time. Time is money on some level, right? So I don't want to spend, I used to spend 4 hours, you know, looking over charts, because that's me saying I'm insecure. Traders are leaders, right? They have to be decisive. You can't be getting fed, you know, your trading ideas from other places. You can have them do the screens for you. I totally support that 100%. But then ultimately at the end of the day, you have to pick your names, figure out your position sizing, and then please, for everything holy on God's green earth, know where your protective stops are. Just because you don't want to get knocked out doesn't mean that you're not going to. You can't fall in love with these things. They're not women. You're bullish on Bitcoin. You're bullish on AI. So am I. But that doesn't mean I can just let these things fall into like a 40% pullback. I'm not that much in love. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to be promiscuous in the way you think.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be promiscuous in the way you think. I like that too. Michael just dropping bombs here.
Dropping
I
bombs
like
on
it.
us here.
I like this.
Guys, Michael also is the author of an ebook, the link to which is in the description. It is called The Inner Voice of Trading. So if you go down on YouTube, you click the little description, you can click more. It's in there. Check it out. It's free. Michael, great stuff, man. Thanks
That
a
was
lot for coming on.
fantastic. Thank you so much. That was really great. That was really great.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's good to see you all.
Yeah, likewise.
All
Go
right.
get 'em.
That was
How
good,
was
man.
that?
There's
was
a couple.
fantastic.
There's a couple of doozies in there. Real doozies.
Definitely.
You gotta be
Pareto efficiency, I'm
promiscuous in
into
the
that
way you
one.
think.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
very good.
Ooh.
Very good. Great lessons there on the you know, the all the tools and the doohickeys and stuff like that. Very much in our, you know, mindset of less is more.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Very, very
All right.
cool.
Mr. Strazza had to go to an appointment, so he has left us for the morning. That is okay. We have Alfonso joining us in a few minutes to talk some more charts. In the meantime, let's do a quick rundown, JC, as we sit here 6 minutes into this Friday session. What do we got?
All right. So Dow futures
Green.
flat. I got 0.0 on the Dow futures. I got S&P futures up about 10 handles, close to 20 basis points. NASDAQ futures flat, 0.0. 30-year bond futures pretty flat. Silver down 45 basis points. Gold up 35 basis points. Copper down 1%. Oil flat. And the dollar coming off as the yen is absolutely ripping again. Volatility index, they're right around 14, as U.S. 10-year yields are flat on the day, right around 4.1%. Of course, in the old funny money, Bitcoin up 2.3%, 1,500 points today, up around 68,500, continuing to consolidate below that key 70 level. Ethereum right around 4,000, up again today. Ethereum, Solana continue to move higher. 2.5 trillion in the total crypto market cap, continuing to move up and to the right. Very, 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 very exciting developments in cryptocurrencies, broadening of participation, rotation, all of those things. These are very impressive developments, no question.
All right, let's go through a couple of charts that we had that were on my dock this morning, Fonz. If you could bring up MongoDB for me, please. Let's take a look. Of course, MongoDB plays in the same space as like a Snowflake, those types of names. They had earnings out last night. The earnings were actually quite good. And frankly, so no, the guidance was not. Earnings are good, guidance was really bad. Oh, yeah. Pretty terrible guidance for the quarter and for the year. So the chart, this is MongoDB. Okay, this doesn't reflect obviously what's happened this morning. But JC, do you have any thoughts here?
I mean, listen, what type of where are we in the cycle when we're talking about MongoDB? You know, right? Like
MongoDB is not indicative of anything. It's MongoDB to me is like an average like cloud stock. Like there's nothing like Lakelish about MongoDB to me. You know, I mean, just straight up for a couple of years, and it went down with everything else, and now it's come back, and I'm not sure it says much about anything that we're talking about MongoDB.
Spencer, the fact that you think MongoDB is one of the blue chips in the space, you know, listen, I think you nailed it when you compared.
No, I didn't say blue chip. It's an average. Yeah,
it's a $30 billion it's a $30 billion software stock, right? You with me?
Yeah, that's like totally. Yeah, that's like run of the mill. This is run of the mill.
Run of the mill.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's probably, I think you're probably saying that correctly. I think you could probably put it in sort of the median sort of space, right? Not the big ones, it's lean and junky, right? But you know, listen, when we're talking about MongoDB, you know, let's remember what this is, folks.
No, you want junky? We can talk junky. You know, do we have the DocuSign chart? do we have the gap chart? There's DocuSign. Yeah, there's junk for you. What's DocuSign up today?
It's up quite a bit. It's up 4.5%. DocuSign, $11 billion. What is it considered? Is it software? Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah,
I can give you junky. Yeah, I mean, look at the gap. That's junky. They were up a lot more off the open. They're not now. But
so this is Gap, like the stores.
Oh yeah, this is Old Navy and the Gap.
And Banana Republic.
Maybe.
Spencer, you look like the kind of guy that shops at Banana Republic. You go there?
I have in the past. I haven't been for quite some time. I don't really know where I buy my clothes. I don't really buy clothes very often.
You look good in tight khaki pants from Banana.
I'm more of a chinos guy, so wherever I can get chinos is good by me.
Chinos, I don't know that one. Is it publicly traded?
No, chinos is a type of pants.
Oh. shows you how much I know.
Chinos is what you could have worn yesterday to the club and gotten in.
Man, I had to borrow a jacket to be allowed in. Yeah. Very embarrassing for me.
Sure. Okay, what else was on my list here? I think that was actually pretty much it. It was really really not interesting out there. Costco was the big one. Like I said, I like the stock, I like the company, and I'm sure having not looked at the stock in almost an hour, I could venture a guess. I'm gonna just venture a guess and say it's recovered its loss in the overnight session. Let's see if I'm right. No, I'm not right. I'm actually very wrong. Okay, well, the more you know. Still, it's Costco. This thing's a beast. Nothing interesting in the hot corner today, right?
Hot corner. What about Caesars? That was an interesting.
I thought there was nothing. Okay, I don't know if we have the chart ready, but
I can get it ready. Yeah, I'll hit that bumper.
All right, well, while you do that, I'll run the bumper.
Hot corner. So hot right now.
So that's the one that stood out to me the most. This is Caesars Entertainment, right?
Yeah.
Caesars Entertainment, executive vice president and CFO buys $620,000 worth of stock.
Talk about a bad pond to be fishing in. I mean, is there any industry group that writ large looks worse than this one? They all look bad.
Yeah, none of them look great, right? But this is just casinos. This is just casinos, not like resorts or cruise lines. This is just casinos.
Yeah, cruise lines is a different story. I couldn't. All the resort stocks are much smaller. Like Wyndham, that's like a small cap, I think. But
RDFN, Redfin is real estate.
Redfin is one of those real estate listing apps. Guilty pleasure, I go on Redfin and or Zillow probably once a week, which I'm very proud to admit is down from my all-time high of every day a couple of years ago. But I've never given them a dime, so I don't really. I mean, they make money on the listings. Clearly, I obviously I know that. But
throw up slide 5. The new slide 5.
Guilty pleasure. It is not AI real estate. What are you talking about? It's just it's a real estate listing platform. Come on, let's make the chart bigger. It's AI real estate. Come on,
this thing's terrible. This thing's one of those things that peaked in 21 with everything else collapsed and just hasn't recovered. You know, we talk every day. We talk about things that are recovering, breaking out to new highs, either cycle highs or all-time highs. This one's doing neither.
Well, this is a great example of like how an underlying, like the underlying business you're in can be doing well, and that does not mean that your business or your stock is doing well. Because the housing market, I mean, right now it's a bit frozen, but I mean, prices are hanging in there. I mean, despite high interest rates, prices are not going down. Right, the housing market is it's cool, but it's certainly not a buyer's market. You know, sellers are in control, at least from what it seems to me. housing prices have done nothing but go up pretty much for the last few years. And look at this stock, right? I mean, just a mess. So I don't think Redfin participated in the iBuying that Zillow was like basically flipping houses, and they were really, really bad at it. I don't know if Redfin did that as well. If they did, they certainly are not doing it anymore. But yeah, one hole says they did do it. Yeah, it did. That was a disaster. These companies were buying and selling houses and losing money across the board. So yeah, Redfin, terrible stock. Guilty pleasure of mine, but not a good company. Not a good stock.
Not much else going on in the hot corner. Not really a lot of transaction. A few Piker purchases coming in, but nothing I'm too interested in.
Yeah, very quiet, very quiet. Hey, should we bring on the chart wizard,
please,
aka Alfonso?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Let's do it.
What up, Fonz? You're on mute. Unmute yourself, Fonz.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey,
what's going on?
Everything good. Everything good over here. How about you?
Listen, man, it's Crypto Friday. It's a bull market. I was talking with some people yesterday. I was like, this is a bull market party. We were not having parties like this 2 years ago, and they all agreed. They're like, this is actually the first time we do this since before COVID. I'm like, my point exactly.
I mean, I agree with that. I love crypto parties, especially in bull markets. I remember we went with Patrick and Strazza to Palm Beach for a crypto conference. So I miss that.
that was a good time. Fonz liked that. Fonz, what's on your mind? I'm going to throw it to you. Usually I have questions for you. I know where you're digging. Why don't you tell me what's standing out to you?
Yeah. So let me show this chart to start like this conversation. So for me, everyone is talking about crypto, semiconductors that has been working for a while, and that's fair, right? I'm invested in some of these leaders, of course, but I think it's fair to ask ourselves, about this relationship about growth versus value. So we recently broke out from a massive base in this relationship, and now we are pulling back, and there is a bearish momentum divergences. So I think as an investor we have to be ready to see if we finally see some rotation back to value oriented areas we haven't seen yet. So I think that could start if we see like a failed breakout in this relationship.
So falling below that line right there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're looking at large cap growth and really mega cap growth versus the large cap value. And
is that because there's no such thing as mega cap value?
Is there no such thing as mega cap value? Kind of. Well, funny. It's a great question because you caught me there. Why don't we take a quick look? So when you look at the Russell 1000 value, the largest component is Berkshire Hathaway. That's pretty mega cap.
That's mega cappy,
right?
Yeah.
Berkshire Hathaway. What's the market cap? Berkshire Hathaway, 870 billion. Does that qualify as mega cap?
Yeah, that's mega cappy. So,
what do you think?
Okay.
What do you think mega cap is? 200 billion.
That's a great question. I wasn't
100.
I will say 100.
Oh, 100. I was gonna go higher.
I think that's fair.
I was gonna say like 3 or 4 or 5. No,
but there's only like 10 companies that have that, or 15 companies.
That's the point. Yeah, I know. That's the point. This is
that to me is more like ultra mega cap, right? Like if large cap is 10 billion, then mega cap's 100.
Yeah. I mean, all right. It makes sense. Logically, it makes sense. I don't know how many
a bigger universe, Spencer. You don't want a universe of 7 stocks like that. That's not going to help us.
Wait, right? how many stocks are above 100? I can look, but you can look faster probably.
How many stocks are above 100?
Yeah.
It is more than you think. Above 100, 120.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, 120.
James says it's above 200. James says the line's at 200.
So if we set the line at 200 billion, that drops a lot. Now you're only looking at 40 something. You're looking at.
I like that. I like 2 or 250.
You're looking at about
quarter,
50 stocks. 50 stocks are above 200. That's a pretty good list. It's a pretty good list, actually.
A $250 billion. That's a good line. That's
no,
a good
200.
line.
200. Yeah. I like James's call there. 200.
200.
We decided a mega cap is officially $200 billion. We just decided. Shout out to James.
I don't think we decided that. I think that's what has been decided, and we are just now agreeing with it.
I think it makes the most sense.
Anyway, moving on.
All right, Fonz. All right. So walk us through. All right. So growth potentially rolling over versus value. We see it, right? You see it in the individual names. You see it in the sectors. Makes perfect sense. What else we got?
So, I mean, one area that nobody's talking about is energy. And I wanted to bring this chart. So I think the bullish argument for energy is happening only if we reclaim that former lows. Look, the momentum, like bullish momentum divergence there. So I think we have to be prepared for some kind of rotation if and when that happens. And if energy is finally, getting like a bid and start outperforming, in that case, I think we should focus on the leaders. So I bring this table, energy leaders sorted by 52-week highs. Really cool names. I don't know if you want to take a look at those individual names.
MPC, right at the top.
Yeah, MPC, Gulfport Energy. So this is probably my favorite chart, Imperial Oil. That's a massive base. The bigger the base, the higher in the space, GC.
Canadian, eh?
Sorry?
Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian. Looking great. Seems to be breaking out right now. Another big base I really like, it's Sunoco. Huge base, above 2014 highs, above 60. I think this one is long, in my opinion. The other ones I really like, Valero, nice base. And finally Hess Midstream, similar to Valero, nice base.
So Hess got bought out by Chevron, but then the Hess Midstream remains independent?
That's what I understand.
Something funky's happening there. There's like another buyer. I don't quite know the whole story with Hess, but yeah, Hess Midstream is a different entity. So yeah.
Because Hess itself has kind of really been flat over the last few months, but the midstream pushing up against those highs is really interesting.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know the whole story here. It's kind of confusing. Oh yeah, it's Exxon, right? Exxon is the one that's
Chevron.
been that. No. It was Chevron, and now Exxon wants in on the action too.
Oh,
I think they're fighting for it.
Interesting.
Or they're fighting for an oil. I'm not sure what they're fighting for, an oil field that's owned by Hess. I'm not quite sure. It's complicated, but that this is a different. HESM is a totally different entity.
Interesting. Probably spot on.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick. XOM has the rights to the area, and therefore the right of first refusal on the deal. Got it. Thank you.
Fascinating. See, shout out to the chat, filling us in on some of these deets.
Chat's always helping.
It is always helpful. Fonz, anything outside of energy that stands out? Don't say industrials.
I mean, outside of energy, semiconductors keep working. Of course, I have to say industrials, JC.
That's why I said don't say industrials.
That's probably my favorite sector right now, like the strongest ones. Everything is working there. Not only large cap stocks in industrial, but mid caps, small caps outperforming. So I think that's a great gauge to, measure market health. And another one, I will say, I mean, gold right now breaking out. That's interesting. I think you made a good point in the call showing some individual stocks. And I think early in the show you made a good point, looking for some smaller names, looking for some beta there, and looking for upside potential. I like that idea. I think the same. More or less the same thing about biotechnology. Early this week, we mentioned and we create some scans of biotechnology, looking for stocks between 1 billion and 30 billion, and then between, I think it was 300 million and 1 billion, looking for that beta and more upside potential similar to those miners.
Yeah, down the cap scale, there are opportunities there in a variety of sectors. You're seeing it in precious metals. You're seeing it in some of these biotechnology stocks, most definitely. You're seeing it in cryptocurrencies, of course, which we'll be talking about today at 2 o'clock. Very excited for that. Spencer, if you want to drop that link in. Guys, if you have not signed up for ASC Crypto, I think your life has gone horribly wrong. We are more excited than ever with all of the tools and data sets that we have this cycle that we didn't before. Things used to be a lot harder and a lot more complicated back in the day, but things are much easier now. So it's exciting.
It's true.
Drop
right,
that link.
Let's do some recess and get out of here.
Let's do it. I just wanted to share the wine that I brought to this bougie dinner last night. This is Facinello. So this is a 20-year-old super Tuscan, as they call it, right? So it's they don't have the most strict rules like you would get like in a Brunello, for example, or a Montepulciano. So this is like a super Tuscan. So they have liberty to do what they want and blend it however they want with a lot of Bordeaux varietals. So it's not just Sangiovese. It could potentially have no Sangiovese. It could be Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot. In this case, this Super Tuscan, when I think Super Tuscans, I think of a blend between Cabernet and Sauvignon Blanc, Cabernet and Sangiovese, right? Like a blend. And I'm making one of those in Napa Valley. This particular Super Tuscan, 100% Sangiovese. And it was absolutely delicious. Shout out to Jeff. Thank you for this. You're making me look good. These guys brought some serious wines. I got to tell you, this one was right up there with anything else we drank. There was a 2000 Barolo that was pretty freaking incredible also. Those two, in my opinion, were the best ones. So I had nothing to do with this. It was a present to me that I brought to the table. I can't take credit for it. Shout out to Jeff, but definitely made me look good, buddy. Thank you.
All right. My recess is a public service announcement to our American friends, except for those in Arizona and Hawaii, of course. Daylight savings this weekend, spring ahead, an hour, Saturday night into Sunday. Don't forget, set your clocks.
What about
miss
Indiana?
the open...
Indiana doesn't move it either, right?
Yes. Yeah. What?
I don't think Indiana does it.
Huh? That can't be. Indiana, really?
I didn't know that. Okay, I think
fine.
Indiana's one of those states that sometimes they switch, sometimes they don't. They're one of those like in betweeners.
I was unaware. All right, Indiana too. The rest of yous, you'll miss the open on Monday. You'll miss the open if you don't. So anyway, clocks. Some counties in Indiana don't. I did not know this. That is very bizarre.
You guys have daylight savings in Venezuela, Alfonso?
What's that?
I guess
we
not.
changed our clocks.
Oh,
yeah. Fonz, remember?
We don't have that, but definitely it affects us if you guys change the time.
Yeah.
Well, so we're changing time, by the way. Yeah. So
perfect. That's a good advice.
Yeah, Fonz, remember in what was it, October, right?
November. It changed in November and in March.
It changed in November. Fonz was here all by himself. I mean, I was here, but and Fonz was like, "Where is everybody?" And I was like, "Dude, you're all fine hour."
Now I will have the same time of you guys.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. Yes.
Nice. All right.
All right. Fonz, do you have any recess?
Yeah, I'm excited. Sunday morning, watch a nice soccer game. Of course,
football.
Yeah, like football, like the Premier League, Liverpool against Manchester City. That's like a very decisive match. So I'm
Wait,
excited.
I have
for that.
something. Fonz, you and I were talking about the movie that I watched. I want to recommend. This is my movie recommendation of the week: Society of the Snow. It's I guess a Spanish movie. I'm not quite sure.
It happened in Chile.
Right. Amazing story about a plane crash. Plane was going from Uruguay to Chile, right? Did I get that right? Crashed in the Andes Mountains in the 70s. Obviously, people in South America know about this. They did a movie about it a while back. There's a new movie about it. It's on Netflix, Society of the Snow. Watch it in Spanish, not in English. It was fantastic. I'm pounding the table so hard that my camera cover came down. That's how good it is. Society of the Snow. Check it out. Yes, Melissa, you got it. Awesome. That's what I have. So, thanks to our guest today, Michael Martin. Thanks to all of you in the chat for hanging out. Thanks to Fawn. Thanks to Louie. Go make some money. Have a good weekend. We'll see you later.
Adios.
Run it. I can't take no loss.